Kelsey, one of your teammates said yesterday that you started saying in the huddles, we're all we got, we all we need.
Yeah, I said we all we got, we all we need, yeah.
How did that kind of come about? And do you remember when you started sharing that message?
Probably, it might have been after somebody got hurt. I won't even lie to you. It was early on. I think it was when CC got hurt, and I felt like it was deflating. It was hard for people to kind of see us and see our energy for what we brought to the table as a team. Hats off to CC for, being a great teammate and having to go through so much with injury. But, the all we got, all we need was it's a staple to who we trying to be as a team and who we want our culture to be. We can't help the ones that's not here, which is unfortunate, but we can help who is and be present about that and not disrespect the game because, I would like to think that CC, Ari, Sid would want to play and be in our shoes. And so I think the all we got, all we need is just, it's kind of like a respect thing, but to put it in the air that we all we got and we all we need.
You heard that? You heard the timing. I think it was when CC got hurt. It wasn't a random locker room speech. It wasn't a spur-of-the-moment attempt to rally the troops. It was a message, a mantra born in the exact moment of Caitlin Clark's vulnerability. This is the smoking gun. This is the confession. And it proves what some of us have suspected all along. This isn't about jealousy. This is a coordinated attack, and they are planning to silence her. Stay with me, because we're going to connect the dots that the mainstream media wants you to ignore. They want you to believe this is just another story of a salty veteran, but nothing is a coincidence in the WNBA. The story they don't want you to know is that Kelsey Mitchell's comment wasn't the beginning of the attack. It was just the moment they said the quiet part out loud. To understand what's really happening inside the Indiana Fever locker room, you have to look for the pattern. Lone incidents can be dismissed, but patterns are proof of an agenda. And this agenda started long before any huddle. It started with family. This is the second major incident involving the Mitchell family and Caitlin Clark. We're not talking about one stray comment. We're talking about a documented history of social media criticism aimed directly at Clark. Think about that. Before Kelsey Mitchell ever uttered "we all we need," her own sister, Kelsey Mitchell, was on Facebook publicly agreeing with a post that claimed the Fever would be better off without Caitlin Clark. Let that sink in. Better without Clark. That wasn't some random fan. That was from inside the Mitchell camp. It's a foundational belief. So when you hear commentators talk about this, don't let them gaslight you into thinking it's just a simple rivalry. It's not. It's a calculated narrative being pushed from multiple angles.
Kelsey, through all the ups and downs of this season, and I know you have bigger goals in mind, but the team ensured a 500 finish, back-to-back years doing that. I mean,
it's a big deal.
Right, given everything that this team has gone through this year, and the fact that you guys, I think, are one win away from securing a playoff spot, what did it take to kind of stay the course, and what does that mean to just at least get that one thing kind of checked off?
It's definitely a stepping stone in the right direction. I think considering where this organization has been and some of the great players that's come through it, we got to look at this, like I said, for a winning moment tonight. It doesn't happen a lot, and where we've been at, you guys know what it's been like the last couple of years here, and so to see the tables kind of turn, it works in our favor, and I think that we deserve it from a standpoint of we put the work in to be here, and so I like to think that you guys gonna keep sticking it with us too, because you guys deserve it. In order to capture good content and all that, you got to win, and so I think it goes together as far as both sides, but I think it's definitely important for us to kind of bask in it for a little bit, because I remember where.
He's right. Time and time again. This isn't speculation. It's a documented pattern of behavior. The family lays the groundwork on social media, planting the seeds of doubt, creating the narrative that Clark isn't essential. Then, at the moment of maximum opportunity, Clark's injury, Kelsey Mitchell deploys the team-facing message. We all we got, we all we need. It's a classic pincer movement. One front attacks publicly, the other attacks internally. Coincidence or coordination? Now, if there's a coordinated attack, there must be a motive. What is the end goal? It's simple. To control the narrative by diminishing Clark's value to the franchise. And here's where the conspiracy gets deeper, because the media is a willing participant. Ask yourself this. Did you hear about Kelsey Mitchell's historic, career-high 38-point performance against Connecticut? Did you see ESPN run segments celebrating her as she averaged nearly 21 points per game in Clark's absence, carrying the team on her back? Of course not. Mainstream sports media largely ignored Mitchell's MVP-caliber season, choosing instead to focus almost exclusively on Clark-related storylines and drama. Why would they do that? Why ignore legitimate, incredible basketball performances? Because Mitchell's success isn't the story they want to sell. The conflict is the story. They don't want a hero, they want a villain. By ignoring her on-court achievements and only giving her a microphone when she says something controversial about Clark, they amplify the division. They are manufacturing a civil war inside the Fever locker room because it generates clicks and views. Mitchell's "we need" comment was the perfect soundbite, easily mined from its context and weaponized to create maximum fan polarization. It was the fuel they needed for their fire, and Mitchell plays her part perfectly. Listen to how she talks about the team's success, how she carefully frames it as a result of the team's hard work, subtly erasing Clark's impact from the equation. We deserve it. We put the work in. I remember where this group was. Do you hear it? It's the language of someone building a case that they are the reason for the success, not the generational talent who brought the eyes of the world to their franchise. She is feeding the exact narrative the media wants. She gives them the sound bites, and they give her the platform, all while ignoring the box scores that prove she's an elite player. It's a symbiotic relationship designed to create chaos around Caitlin Clark. So you have the family attacks, you have the internal messaging, you have the complicit media. What happens when a coordinated attack like this is launched? A countermove. And that countermove has a name. Sophie Cunningham. Don't believe the narrative that Cunningham is just a dirty player. That's another piece of media manipulation designed to discredit the one person actively fighting back. Look at the facts. Cunningham's popularity exploded, gaining over 1 million social media followers after she began physically retaliating against opponents who were targeting Clark. The fans saw what was happening. They saw the war being waged on Clark, and they recognized Cunningham wasn't a villain. She was a protector. Her ejection after a hard foul on J.C. Sheldon wasn't a loss of control. It was a strategic message sent to the entire league. It was a declaration that if the refs in the league wouldn't protect the star, she would. The establishment has to discredit her. They label her an enforcer or dirty because they need to neutralize her. She is the wrench in their plans. She represents a physical, undeniable defense against the psychological warfare being waged by people like Mitchell. While Mitchell is whispering, "We don't need her" in the huddle, Cunningham is on the court physically screaming, "Touch her and you deal with me." It's a battle for control of the team's soul, and it's happening right in front of our eyes. The competitor videos want to lump them together, to say Mitchell's disrespect is the same as Cunningham's physicality. Don't fall for it. One is the attack, the other is the response. This is the point where you have to zoom out and see the whole board. Nothing is an accident. Every piece is moving with intention. Let's connect the dots one last time. Dot 1. The Mitchell family wages a public campaign on social media, establishing the "better without Clark" narrative. Dot 2. The moment Clark is injured, Kelsey Mitchell introduces a psychologically manipulative mantra, "we need," designed to isolate Clark and suggest she is non-essential. Dot 3. The media selectively ignores Mitchell's on-court brilliance to amplify only the divisive comments, framing her as the jealous veteran and manufacturing a feud. Dot 4. The team's success in Clark's absence, including making the playoffs for the first time in years, is weaponized as the ultimate raw proof that the agenda is working. They are building a case, using wins and losses, that Clark is replaceable. The goal isn't just to hurt Caitlin Clark's feelings. The goal is to systematically dismantle her power, to reduce her influence, to make her seem like just one part of the machine, not the engine itself. It is an attempt to silence her cultural impact by proving, on paper, that she isn't needed for victory. It's the most insidious kind of attack, one that uses your own team's success against you. And the most chilling part? Kelsey Mitchell confessed to her role in it. She told us exactly when the plan was put into motion.
Kelsey, through all the ups and downs of this season, and I know you have bigger goals in mind, but the team ensured a 500 finish, back-to-back years doing that. I mean,
it's a big deal.
Right, given everything that this team has gone through this year, and the fact that you guys, I think, are one win away from securing a playoff spot, like, what did it take to kind of stay the course, and what does that mean to just at least get that one thing kind of checked off?
It's definitely a stepping stone in the right direction. I think considering where this organization has been and some of the great players that's come through it, we got to look at this, like I said, for a winning moment tonight. It doesn't happen a lot, and where we've been at, you guys know what it's been like the last couple of years here, and so to see the tables kind of turn, it works in our favor, and I think that we deserve it from a standpoint of we put the work in to be here, and so I like to think that you guys gonna keep sticking it with us too, because you guys deserve it. In order to capture good content and all that, you got to win, and so I think it goes together as far as both sides, but I think it's definitely important for us to kind of bask in it for a little bit, because I remember where.
And it was early on. I think it was when CC got hurt, and I felt like it was deflating. It was deflating for everyone else. But for her, it was an opportunity. An opportunity to launch the narrative, to plant the flag, to prove the point her family had been making all along. She admitted it. The timeline is the proof. The pattern is the proof. The plan is working. The Indiana Fever achieved a 24-20 record and made the playoffs. On paper, the attack is a success. But this isn't over. This is just one battle in a much larger war. The agenda to control Caitlin Clark, to diminish her, to silence her, has been exposed. Now that they have a winning record without her, what's the next phase of the plan? They've laid the groundwork to argue she's not essential. How will they use that against her in the future? And you have to ask the final, most terrifying question. Is this just about Kelsey Mitchell and the Indiana Fever? Or is she just a soldier in a league-wide conspiracy against a star who became too bright, too fast? A coordinated attack to remind everyone, especially the new fans she brought in, who is really in control of this league. The attack on Caitlin Clark is happening from inside her own locker room, and if we don't keep exposing it, they might just succeed.